Chiefs against the 49ers.
Super Bowl 58 is underway.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Talk about the it factor. That's what Patrick Mahomes has. They need to score. They scored. He needed to run. He ran. No matter how big the moment is,
A touchdown wins the game.
he can always meet that intensity.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City!
It is a dynasty.
Now that they are a certified dynasty, they're the standard in the NFL.
Send me your best, and I will send them home. This is the greatest Super Bowl run ever. 50 days away from week 1 of the NFL season, where the Chiefs and that cold-blooded man, Patrick Mahomes, led by the baddest head coach in the game in Andy Reid, will take on the Baltimore Ravens. Mahomes, Kelsey, best of friends off the field and on the field, they go crazy, looking for a three-peat. But Andy Reid said, quote, it's not healthy. It's a nice goal to put out there, but it's a hard one to get. It's not healthy, James Jones. You won 1 Super Bowl, sir. Yeah. They've won 2 in a row, and they're going on 3. You know just how hard it is to get 1, and not many people on national television can say that. So when asking this question, there's no better insight to get than yours. But do you expect the Chiefs to repeat?
Man, I wanted to say no till y'all played that video. Because now I'm looking at Patty like, man, Patty going back. Patty going back. They're going to win. It's going to be a three-peat. Man, no. No. And the only reason why I'm saying no is because it ain't never been done. Never, ever. And we all know how hard it is to win Super Bowls. That's why my dog Shady say, let's stop even throwing them Super Bowls around, because we know how hard it is. It has never been done in the history of the National Football League. It's never been done. Patrick Mahomes is great. Andy Reid is great. Travis Kelsey is great. But it's never been done. Yeah. So if you're asking me, do I think they would three-peat? Really, instead of taking the field or something that's never been done, and I'm talking like this because I'm like, how am I going against Patty? But three-peat, man, that's crazy. That's crazy, and that is extremely hard to do. People don't understand what goes into that. You got to be healthy. Footballs, they got to bounce your way. All of this stuff, and you got to have a bad man on the planet, Patrick Mahomes. But I'm gonna take the field on this one. I'm gonna say no.
Ooh, I was with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to say no until I saw that, and now I'm saying yes. True story, I was watching Netflix's Receiver, and y'all know I'm a Niners fan. I just love their brand of football. Netflix's show Receiver, it features Deebo Samuel, it features George Kittle. They got so many dogs, the Niners do. When I was watching that game, Kittle hurts his shoulder in the Super Bowl. He runs into the back. He runs back out on the field. Hey, Shanahan, I'm ready. I'm like, yo, Kittle is a dog. Yeah. Deebo, he messes up his hamstring during the course of the game. Hey, coach, I'm good. Put me back in. Deebo is a dog. On the defensive side of the ball, Fred Warner is a dog. Nick Bosa, they were showing him in the locker room before a game. He's a dog. All them dogs.
All them dogs.
And Patrick Mahomes sent them all home.
All home.
All of them. Patrick Mahomes sent them all home. Before the kickoff, George Kittle, he's like, hey, Trav, how you feeling? Kelsey, full beard, locked in. Locked in. I'm thinking to myself, with all the dogs that the Niners have, who, in God's name, could send them home? One man, Patty. So there's just so many weapons in the National Football League, but Pat is the biggest weapon of them all. The reason I would expect the Chiefs to three-peat is when I look at the Niners, there was nobody better. Bosa, Fred, you know what I'm saying? Like Kittle, Deebo, Ayuk, McCaffrey, Trent. And Pat sent them all home?
All of them.
Oh, if Pat can beat 300, you know what I'm saying? If he can beat them cats, who gonna beat them? Who? Yeah. I love C.J. Stroud, the Texans. I think they're probably the biggest threat. We'll talk about them later. I like Joe Burrow. He's obviously proven to be able to do it. But, Joy, if you can beat the Niners, who can't you beat? Who can't you beat? You expect the Chiefs to three-peat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really all you need to say.
Yes. Give me the field, give me the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs. Because here's why. Remember when they lost Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
We were like,
remember that.
How can you lose Tyreek Hill?
Say Patty ain't going back.
He ain't going back. He ain't going back.
Okay, no way.
That was the highest my voice is going to get today, so.
No way he's going back.
How could he go back? They went back.
He did.
They won.
And won.
Remember last year when we were like, we're not fixing this wide receiver? Well, you were like, we're not fixing this wide receiver situation. And Kelsey wasn't good like all year.
Not good.
He was weird. He was gone. They had fumbles.
Didn't get 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Most drops in the league. Drops just.
Everywhere.
Everybody
You know how bad
everybody was
drops are.
struggling. Even the quarterback was struggling.
Yeah.
Think about how much it sucks to like drop
the
an
Raiders.
open
Lost to the Raiders.
pass.
Trust me, I've done it
They
before.
did that so many times.
In front of 80,000
Yeah, and then they went up against the Niners, right? Big dogs.
big dogs on
Yeah.
campus.
Big dog.
Big dogs. Still won.
Still
Still won.
So
with the receiver problem.
with the receiver problem, with Kelsey bad all
They beat the
year.
Niners in overtime.
They don't have Tyreek Hill.
The Niners had a lead.
Who else did they beat? Who else did they beat in the
defies
Super Bowl?
They beat the Ravens in a row.
No, who they beat? Who they beat
beat
the
the
other
Eagles.
time? They went to the Eagles, right?
70 sacks.
Eagles.
70 sacks.
Sacks.
Third most all time.
All-pro Jalen Hurts.
Historic
Oh, hard to
defense.
do.
Historic defense.
Oh, God.
Right? On this incredible run.
Almost put up 40.
Unbelievable.
Gosh, leash.
Right?
38.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. What could matter? I'm sorry. At this point, it would be silly of me to think otherwise. I know it's never happened, but there's things that never happen that end up happening. We see it all the time. Sometimes we love it, sometimes we hate it, but it happens all the time. I can't pick against the Chiefs anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I think I'm really excited for this season. It's really kind of ironic because maybe I've never been more excited for an NFL season than this season.
Yeah.
There's so many interesting storylines this year. So many things. I can't wait to see what this team does and what this player does and what this quarterback does and the Texans and the Jets and the Dolphins. And it's just so exciting. But I think the Chiefs are going to win.
It's about the journey, Joy. It's
Yes,
about, like,
I am going to
gonna
enjoy
have,
it. The Alchemist,
We're
right?
gonna, we're gonna have
I'm gonna enjoy
fun. You know, it's like, you know, you live in LA, you drive home, you look at the water, you're like, man, this is gorgeous. And then you get home like you do every day. The Chiefs win like they do every
day.
year. The journey's gonna be fun. If you're asking me in July to pick, I expect the Chiefs to three-peat. I mean, Joy put it so eloquently and so much more fun than I can do, but these, by back-to-back champion standards, these were not impressive teams.
Right.
They ditched Tyreek Hill. And then we watched them again, like last year. We didn't make that up. They were dead in the water. They were the 3 seed in the playoffs. They were a completely unimpressive team. They still managed to do it. So they are inevitable. And now they're better, by the way. I'm just going to put this out there if we're making summer predictions. I think Hollywood Brown's about to remind the NFL that he exists.
Yeah.
He's been stuck in Arizona for a little bit. He was on a Ravens team that didn't really feature its receivers. Now he's playing with Patrick Mahomes. How excited do you think that guy is right now? They got Xavier Worthy to add certainly don't want to compare him to Tyreek Hill, but you're talking about that type of speed, adding to an offense with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes figuring out how to use you. By the way, remember before the Super Bowl when we were like, it's the last dance for Chris Jones. Say goodbye because they'll never be able to afford it. Well, he's back too, by the way. And yes, they did lose L'Jarius Sneed.
They did lose Sneed.
They got Trent McDuffie stepping into his role. Big whoop. I think they'll be okay. Spags is still there to figure it out. And the crazy thing is, maybe they'll look terrible for 6 weeks. They'll figure it out.
Crazy.
They will figure it out.
That's what's crazy is it doesn't matter what happens during the regular season anymore. If you give the Chiefs hope and get them into the playoffs, that's the craziest thing. They shouldn't have won last year.
By the way,
They shouldn't have won.
Not to rub it in on James, but like, who's threatening them in that division this year? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. Harbaugh's in year 1 of a total rebuild. Denver is whatever that is. Yeah. The Raiders, as we said at the top of the show, are one of the only teams without a quarterback. The Chiefs could sleepwalk their way to a division title and, like, on New Year's Eve, crack their neck. Like, all right, let's go. Let's go play some football. If I have to say it right now, I expect them to.
Hold on, pause. Chiefs are great. They're great. They're great. They're great. They're great. But how in the world do these dynasties also get fortunate? Or are they not fortunate? Think about Tom Brady. The Jets were terrible the majority of Brady's tenure, outside a little bit of here and there. The Dolphins, unfortunately, were terrible the majority of his tenure. The Buffalo Bills, terrible the majority of his tenure, not to mention his greatness. The Raiders, obviously, they've been struggling in a large part since they lost Jack Del Rio and struggled his last year there. The Broncos, they've been struggling since Peyton Manning left. And the Chargers, they've been struggling since Tyrod and Rivers and Herbert. Is it coincidence? Is it a little bit of fortune, a little bit of fate? James, let me talk to you first. Because they're also great, but put the Chiefs in the NFC East. At least they have to go to war. Put the Chiefs in the AFC North. At least they got to go to war.
Yeah, but what you just tell me?
What'd I say?
Regular season don't matter.
Yeah.
If they punch their ticket, that's all that matters. And you know what? They punched their ticket. You know who they beat?
All those teams.
All the good ones.
Everybody.
All the good
all
ones.
the
So now
teams
let's
that
add the
won.
Ravens in there with the best record in football at home. Get on about your business. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is when they bad and they step into these playoffs, it don't matter.